Hello and welcome to Elke Art. Thank you so much for joining me today in this art project that we will be doing. Today I wanted to do a project that reminded us about how Jesus cares for us, not only as our loving Savior, but also as the Good Shepherd. So in the Bible it talks about how we are like sheep who have gone astray, and how Jesus comes and finds us and brings us back to Him. And this especially connects with the story about the lost sheep, the shepherd who goes looking for that one sheep that has wandered off and then brings it back to the 99 and celebrates. And so here I have a watercolor illustration of Jesus with the lost sheep, Jesus as the Good Shepherd who has been taking care of those sheep. And in the same way, we remember how Jesus takes care of us and always is watching out for us and trying to protect us from all that is out there. For this illustration, I used watercolor paper and a Sharpie and watercolor paints. So please join me in doing this project. If ever I am going too fast, don't hesitate to push that pause button so that you can catch up with me. All right, thanks so much for watching, and please check out my channel, Elke Art, for more art projects that you can do with me at home. All right, enjoy. Today I will be using a pencil, some paint brushes, a Sharpie marker, and some watercolors. I am writing on watercolor paper, which happens to be thicker than normal paper. I'm starting out just a little bit above halfway. I'm going to make kind of a large oval type shape. Notice maybe if I put 4 fingers, they would fit in there, so make sure that you're large enough. About halfway in that shape, I'm making a slight M looking shape, and then I'm going to make kind of a curved line above it. This is going to be Jesus's face. Next, I'm going to start at the oval and make a curved line down on the right. This is his arm, and it's going to kind of go up like a J, and then it's going to go around and up to make the sleeve. I'm also going to add a little hand on there as well. And please pause if ever I am going too fast for you so that you can catch up. Next, I'm going to make the sheep's head by making 2 curved lines and then adding some ears in between them. I'm going to add some bumpy lines here for the back of the sheep, and I'm going to have a little front paw or leg hanging down from the sheep's body. I'm going to add the other shoulder of Jesus with a curved line, and then another arm kind of wrapped underneath the sheep, holding the sheep up, or the lamb. I'm going to make 2 straight lines all the way down to the bottom of my page here for the rest of Jesus's body, and then I'm going to make some straight lines right in the middle of his body to make it look like he has kind of a cloak on. I'm also going to add a belt in between those lines, and then some eyes and a nose, keeping it very simple. We'll add a mouth as well. Now, in case you missed any of that, I'm going to go ahead and trace it with Sharpie so you can see all of those parts a little bit better. So I started with this oval shape for the head, trying to keep it very simple. Then I made a shape for the top part of his face, has a slight curve for the beard and the mustache. There's his eyes, which are just black dots, and a nose, which is kind of a U shape, and a mouth. Very simple. I'll go over the lines of Jesus's clothing, shoulder, the arm that's holding the sheep, trying to keep it very simple. There's the other shoulder, the arm that's going under the sheep, and then the hand is just a curved line. I didn't even make individual fingers. For the sheep, I've got a curved line for the bottom of the face, lines that go to points for the ears, and then a curved line for the top of the face, and you can add some little eyes there as well. And then I'm adding kind of the bumpy lines for the sheep's wool, and then a little foot kind of hanging down. On the bottom here, I'm just making straight lines that go down, and then adding a belt in between them to make it look like he's got kind of a cloak on. And then adding the lines on the outside of the body as well. Now I also wanted just to kind of put a ground in there behind him, so I'm making a straight line and then kind of like a wavy line to show that maybe there's some hills in the background. And that is all I'm going to do for the drawing. Next, I'm going to switch to painting with my watercolor paint. And I'm going to start off by painting the sky, and I'm trying to stay outside of my lines, and I'm just adding some nice blue paint above the ground and then around Jesus. And sometimes it helps to kind of point your brush right at Jesus and then go right around those lines nice and carefully. And then I'm just kind of having them fade off to the edges of the painting, but if you want to paint right on up to those edges, you are welcome to do that. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the most of the sky all around Jesus here. I want you to remember, when using watercolor paint, you have to make sure that your sections that you paint don't touch each other, because the watercolor paint can bleed together. So once I do the sky here, I need to wait for that to dry before I do anything that touches the sky. Otherwise my colors might mix and mingle, and I don't necessarily want them to do that. I want my sky colors to stay in my sky and my other sections to stay where they are. So I'm going to jump around my painting a little bit to make sure that doesn't happen. And since this grass down here doesn't touch the sky, I can go ahead and paint that in with a light green. And I can do that on both sides of Jesus here, my light green. If you don't have two shades of green, you can always mix green and yellow. And that will give you a lighter shade of green. Another area that doesn't touch anything that's currently wet would be the inside of Jesus's clothes. I'm just going to make those kind of a light brown. If you don't have a light brown color, you can always just add a little more water to your brown, and that will keep it lighter. And I just wanted to paint Jesus's clothing in here light brown, since it doesn't touch anything that's currently wet. I am also going to paint Jesus's skin color, and you can use a light brown for that as well, or you can mix a little bit of orange with it, and that usually is good to create some skin tones. And then I like to drop just a little bit of pink or red by the cheeks, just to kind of make the skin tones come to life here. I'm also going to do the hand, since that doesn't touch anything that's wet either. I've let those areas dry so that now that I come in with my next colors here, they won't bleed together with the ones that I've already painted. Now this section is Jesus's hair and beard, so I'm trying to have it kind of a dark brown. You can mix brown and black together to get a dark brown, or you could even just go straight in with black if you wanted to. I wanted that to be nice and dark. Trying to be very careful to stay inside of my lines that I made. I'm going to go ahead and paint my hills with a little bit of a darker green than I did my ground. You can see this green is a little bit more of a blue green, where my ground is more of a yellow green, just to give some differences in colors there. I'm trying to stay inside those lines. My sky is dry and my grass is dry to make sure that none of those colors bleed together. I'm going to paint my belt since that's not touching any wet paint right now. I can paint that in there. And then I'm going to start in on the clothing. And I just decided to go for kind of like a light golden color for his robe that he's wearing. I'm just trying to paint carefully, make sure I'm staying in the lines. The beard is dry, so I should be okay there. I'm going to go ahead and paint the bottom area as well. And I am trying to be careful next to that belt because that belt is not dry, it's still wet. So I'm trying not to get too close to that. You can see I accidentally touched a little bit, so some of that belt color is leaking into my robe, but it's okay. Adding those colors in there nicely. And then I also wanted just to add a little bit of pink to the cheeks of the lamb too, just to kind of match with the style. And there you have the painting of Jesus holding his sheep. Thank you so much for watching this video with me today, and please let me know how it goes. I hope you enjoyed painting and drawing Jesus. Feel free to visit my channel, Elke Art, for more videos and tutorials. Have a fabulous day.